I trust that we had a rather productive day. I on my own end, my day has been pretty long. It started before before a lot of people could wake up, and it's still going on. But I trust that we had a productive day. Thank you for making it to this call. And it promises to be power-packed. It promises to be impactful. And we should be out of here maximum in an hour. Okay, so why are we here? And what do we hope to take from here? So John Levy is a book publishing company that helps self-publishers, independent people that want to just publish for themselves, to publish their books. And it came from a place where we found out that quite a number of people want to share their thoughts with the world, but they don't know how to find their way around that through the whole writing process, through the whole editing process, through the whole publishing to sales process. But they have something to say, and we deem it fit for us to give people the platform or to help people actually through that process. And that's what we do basically in Jolly. And in the last, so November 1st, we decided to do a 45-day challenge where we just write together. Because for me, I've been trying to write a book for 3 years now. So I first thought that it was because I was busy. I'm doing so many things. That's why I'm not making an headway in my writing. And then all of a sudden, I think around April this year, I was pretty much free, actually, very, very free. And I still did not write for months. So I discovered that I gave myself a wake-up call that, hey, Titi, something is going on. Is not that, yes, you're busy, but you can find the time if you think is rather important. And I think like last month, a friend chatted me up to say that, oh, she has been writing this book forever, and then she needs an accountability partner to help her, such that, okay, so we meet together at a particular time during the day, and then we just write. So rather than talking about writing, rather than talking about what you want to write, rather than thinking about what you want to write, we actually sit down, get on the call, and write. And that time period, of course, there were times where, yes, I was on the call, but I was probably eating or doing something else. But it helped me during that time. And then looking at how John Levy could move forward, and I thought, okay, so we can actually help a number of people on their journey too by starting this thing. And today is day 8. It feels like forever. It feels like forever, but I've written articles that I've always planned to write, and sometimes I'm writing with sleepy eyes, but I found out that I get to the middle of it, and yes, my eyes are wide open and I'm making progress. So part of the concept of the 45-day writing challenge is just coming together, getting on a call, if it's just for 1 hour, and then writing. We don't do any, because enough of talk, let's put action to this thing. And I think it has rather been productive. I see people log in what the number of words they've written per day, and it has rather been interesting, stretching but interesting. So part of what the data is showing us is we have quite a number of quote unquote amateur writers, people who have something to say and they want to say it, but they are not necessarily pros at writing down what they want to say. We decided to start this masterclass in between the writing challenge, such that we can bring a pro on board to teach us or to guide us on what to do. And that's why we are here. And today we have an interesting person in the house. He's a very wonderful person. He's a sweet person. Anytime you just reach out to him for something, he's ready to help. And of course, he's good at what he does. And for the next 20 to 30 minutes, he's going to be giving us tips on how amateurs can grow into professional writers. and he's on ground to answer all of our questions. So I'll leave it to Kola to decide how he wants to do it. If you want us to drop the questions in the chat box as he's talking, or if he wants us to wait till he's done and then we ask all of the questions. Anyhow it goes, I'm sure that it's going to be a 1 hour that is well spent. So a short summary of course, a few words cannot capture the impactful life that one has lived, but it can try. So I'm going to try and read a short bio of Kola Muhammed. Kola Muhammed is a content marketing strategist and a PR expert who has overseen content and public relations strategies for some of the biggest media brands in Sub-Saharan Africa. With an impressive track record and wealth of experience in digital media marketing, SEO, editorial supervision, and audience engagement, it helps brands communicate effectively through data-driven strategies for optimal performance. So with a virtual round of applause, can we all welcome Kolawole Momodu. Kolawole, welcome on board, brother. You have the floor.
I felt the virtual round of applause. Yeah, good evening, Titilayo. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for attending this masterclass. My name is Kola Muhammed. I don't know why Titi is putting Muhammad there. I'm not a fan of Buhari. I'm sorry, I'm not a family of Buhari, but and right now
I'm
Buhari.
So sorry.
Well, I guess it's the Buhari effect. Everyone is feeling it, so so it's fine. And yeah, thanks for the intro, and thanks for the bio too. I'm sure you understand what I mean. So just to add to what Titi Laya said, yeah, in simple terms, I have done a lot of writing. In fact, writing is what I would call is what has formed my professional career. Writing, editing. At some point, I did a bit of teaching too, and of course, when you now do writing and editing, you can now expand it. You can flesh it into content marketing, PR, digital marketing, even to an extent social media management, even publishing, and so on and so forth. So I wouldn't like to take too much of our time, and I'll just run through some points which I think that everyone will find useful. Many of them you will definitely have heard them before. Few of them you may not have paid attention to them before now. I know our amiable host here is a big time entrepreneur. So she knows a lot about business. In fact, if we were to do a business masterclass in Lagos today, Priscilla will probably be one of the first 5 people to be invited. So my first point, I'll be borrowing it from Titi's playbook, which is start small and start afraid. When it comes to writing, which by extension, it's also applicable to business. We shouldn't be, when I mean we now, I mean amateur writers. All of us are still learning. We should not be afraid to start small, and we should not be afraid to start afraid. So by starting small, it could be 5 lines today, it could be 10 lines tomorrow, it could be 15 lines the day after, it could be 20 lines the day after, it could be 5 pages 2 years after, and it could be 100 pages just 6 months after. So, but what is very, very important is that action starting. We shouldn't be afraid to start, and we should be afraid to start small. And of course, writing, I'm generalizing now because writing has a whole lot of aspects. I mean, social media management is a form of writing. Poetry is a form of writing. Article writing is a form of writing. UI UX is also another subgenre of writing. A whole lot of, so I'm just trying to bring everything together now under one umbrella to just say content writing. So we shouldn't be afraid to start small. I mean, so when you read articles, when you read books, when you read newsletters, when you read blogs, I mean, some of them will look so well crafted, some of them will look so well crafted, so beautiful. I mean, and so cohesive that if you've read like 10 pages before you even aware that you've read like 10 pages, and then you're like, oh wow, can I even get to this stage? Can I get to this level? And please don't be intimidated. And take your journey little by little, small. I mean, so you could start with, it could be even a poem. If you just write a 5 line poem and just be like, oh wow, I wrote something. Let's so take it from there. I mean, 5 lines, 10 lines, 15 lines, and so on. And another point is that you should identify your niche and try and dig deep around it. So like I said earlier, writing is like the sky, very wide, many niches, many subcategories, subgenres, many aspects, many divisions, many sectors. So try and identify your own. So you could feel like, oh, you are someone who loves fashion a lot, and then you can without, I mean, when someone can wake you up and when you are still half conscious, you can like give like 20 tips on how to become a fashionista. So, and you want to go into content writing, so it logically makes sense for you to, probably start with fashion. You could even start with fashion and venture into some other aspects, or probably say you want to even try your hand at something else. But it makes sense to start with something that you're comfortable with a topic, a niche that you already have interest in. It could be fashion, it could be lifestyle, it could even be religion, it could be, let's say, the Lord is putting it on your mind to launch a tract subgroup now at your church, and then you want to come up with a 4 page tract. It could be anything. It could be that you are fascinated by tech, and then you want to venture into content writing around tech for fintechs. It could be food now. Titi Layo might feel like, oh, I'm tired of carrying stones, and she wants to start carrying pen, and she wants to start doing food content. So it makes sense to identify your niche and start from a point of convenience where your interests are, where your interests lie, something that you can easily wake up and do. So because writing is not as simple as it looks like, as easy it looks from outsider. Please let me write this thing, and then you just like, how come you have not done this thing? I mean, because we writers often get that a lot. Be like, what's there? What's there? So if I give you a charge, you'll be like, just to write 1 page of something for me, I charge you calling this amount. If you're that easy, I mean, you would do it yourself. So identify your niche and make it something that you're very, very comfortable with. I mean, all of us have interests. There's nobody on this earth that does not have an interest. It could be makeup, it could be real estate, anything. I mean, anything. So it makes sense to start from there. And then when it gets to a point that you're feeling discouraged or you want to feel discouraged, when you are doing it in an area where you have interest, it becomes easy to pick yourself up to want to do this thing. And on to the next point. I think I should increase my pace. So now that you've identified your niche and then of course you're starting small, it makes sense to read widely around that niche that you have picked now. So you want to do fiction, you want to do non-fiction, you want to do romance, you want to do oral writing. I mean, you want to do sensual writing, whatever. So once you've identified that niche, it makes sense to double down on it and read wide I mean, read literature around it. So, get books, I mean, and this is 2023. I mean, some of us might, um, I mean, I'm actually one of those people who flog themselves that I hardly read hard copy books like before. I mean, before the pandemic, I used to do a whole lot of, I think I used to read a book per month, hard copy now. And at some points, I thought my books would take over my room, but eventually I slowed down on it. But given that this is 2023, a lot of content is now online. We hardly do paper anymore. There are so many newsletters, so many blogs. There's Wattpad, so many stories that you can read. Even on Twitter alone, by the time you read two threads alone can take like 30 minutes of your time. Because, and interestingly, there are quoted tweets. So from one quoted tweet to another, and you're going, and they are all long threads, they are long reads, and it's so writing has become much flexible and much let's say decentralized now. It comes in any form. I mean, in any form, as long as you're getting informed, as long as you're adding to your vocabulary, and as long as it is adding value to you in one way or the other. So read widely, identify the literature that will help you grow in that niche that you have picked. And at the same time, look for writers that are doing wonderful stuff in that niche that you have picked. In Nigeria, I've read quite a number of blogs. I've read I don't want to say millions, but I've definitely read hundreds of writers. And I have my favorites, people that I think that, oh, anytime I read their work, I'm always impressed. I'm always I'm always fascinated by how they write. And so every now and then I always like go back to them and say, oh wow, I like sometimes I even reach out to them. And in my current position, I work as an editor with Pulse. And I read a whole lot of writers. In fact, I read writers from around 4 African countries: Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, and Kenya. So which I work with closely. And every now and then I'm always fascinated by, oh wow, I love the way you put this article. I mean, oh, I love how you write. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the person has to be way older than you or even way more experienced than you. I mean, but you're the one who knows what you're looking for, and then you know that, oh, when it comes to lifestyle, there are some voices that uh, you can't skip when it comes to the lifestyle skip in Nigeria now. When it comes to writing, and then there are even blogs too. When it comes to lifestyle, Bella Nigeria is popular in Nigeria. I mean, they do a whole lot of stuff around lifestyle. When it comes to social media sarcasm, I think Instablog is not doing badly. Zikoko used to do, and I think they're still doing, even though the traction is not like before, doing some amazing stuff. And Tech Cabal Daily, their daily newsletter, they do some wonderful copywriting there. And and of course, I mean, a whole lot that I can go on to mention, and even columnists too. There are columnists that even I myself I read. Sometimes it could be just for the information value. Sometimes it's just for their prowess. So read widely, identify people in your niche that can help you grow, people that you can model after now, that you can probably want to say that, oh, I like how this person writes. I wish I can write like this person. So I mean, you could just, take time to devour the article, see how they write, create patterns. And I should add this too. As an amateur writer, um, it's important that when you read, you shouldn't just read for information again. When you read, just for information alone, when you read, uh, look for patterns. How did the person introduce the article? How did they move from paragraph one to paragraph two? How did they end the article? How did they portray a scenario? I mean, that looked so real, so vivid. What were the words they used? So you are now just reading article for article's sake. You are critically examining such an article. And so the next point is that you should have I think mentor might be a big word, but you should have someone who is experienced in the writing field, who's an experienced writer. I mean, apart from people that you are shadowing, let me use that word, online, that you may not necessarily meet, have someone around you who is an experienced writer who can also put you through, who can help you, who can help you rate your articles, appraise your articles. That, oh, okay, this is good, this is a good start, and you can do better, like that, like that. So these people will also help you edit your work. I mean, apart from giving you feedback, they will also help you edit your work and tell you, this is an aspect that you have to improve upon. So that's very important. Another thing to note is that when you're starting out, you should have goals. So how many months do you want to devote to the learning process? In 1 year, you should be able to go from 0 to 100. Your own goal might be in 3 months, you want to go from 0 to 100. Your own goal might be in 2 years, you want to go from 0 to 1,000. It all depends on the time. I want to believe that all of us are professionals. I mean, we have one work we are doing or the other, so we don't have all the time in the world to devote to writing. Some of us have kids, maybe a few of us even have grandkids. So, I mean, we may not have that time to uh, to devote, but just have goals that you have set. Okay, so looking at your schedule, looking at your work. So, how many hours can you devote in a day? How many hours can you devote in a week, in a month? And then use that to set goals. That, okay, in as we're going into, as November has started, between November 8th and December 31st, I want to have written like 4 articles, and I want this experienced writer that is helping me out to say that, oh, wow, you have really, really grown. Oh, fantastic. Set goals for yourself. And as you are growing on the journey, as you are moving, of course, you would always need to push yourself because writing is tedious. There are days you don't feel like writing anything, and it's why I said earlier that it doesn't matter whether you're in the mood or not, just write something. It could be 5 lines, it could be 10 lines. Just you write something, and never be always be eager uh, to put yourself out there. So when I mean put yourself out there, look for platforms. Often I know there is Medium that you can publish your own articles. You can create an account, publish articles on it, publish poems on it. It could even be fiction, non-fiction, publish on it, and share the link on your status. Oh, I just did a bit of I just did this write up. Can you read and give me feedback on it? How would you rate it? Like that. There's Substack. These platforms are free. You can even do trade. Go to Twitter, do trade. I mean, I don't think anyone will attack you for writing a story on trade, unless you're you're probably attacking another person with your write-up now. So as you're growing, look for platforms that you can showcase your writing. So this way you are putting yourself out there, and you will get more feedback, and then you get more criticisms. I mean, of course, at this stage of our lives, I don't think we should be afraid of criticisms anymore, because I mean, people will give you feedback. Some might be harsh. Some might even tell you that writing is not your will. Please go and look for something else. But don't be discouraged. I've worked with. So I was. Let me share this story. So of course I can't mention it. So sometime in, I think it was around August. So a lady joined Pulse as a writer, and the very first article I read, I had to go meet the director of, was it the director of content or editor in chief? And I had to go there and be like, my guy, please, how did this person pass the screening? I mean, what happened? Is this person your girlfriend, or is this person your younger sister? Because I possibly can't understand how someone who writes like this can possibly, you know, pass through 2 stages or 3 stages of interview. I mean, what happened? Didn't you see the write-up? Like, she's a Roger, blah, blah, blah. I was pissed because, I mean, I just felt you should be looking as in this job. I mean, there is enough headache already. So when you're bringing on people, you should be bringing on people that would relieve your headaches, that would relieve your stress, and not add to it. But in like as of now, quite interestingly, I went to the lady myself. I think that was yesterday or day before yesterday. And I said, hi, lady. Well, I didn't tell her that I had written her off before. I mean, it would have been harsh. But the rate at which she grew, I was really, really amazed. Like she is someone that she doesn't like to be corrected twice on an issue. So once you tell her that, oh, don't start an article like this, don't do this, she gets it and she moves on. So in no time, she's able to like leave some errors behind because once you have corrected that part has gone, and then you move to another, and then in like 3 months, I mean, of course, I was like, wow, I mean, like, I mean, so I just share that instance to show that no matter how bad you are, I mean, if that lady did it, I mean, if she could, I mean, she's not the best writer right now. I'm not saying she's the best. I mean, for the stage she currently is right now, I wouldn't have seen her getting to that stage in 6 months, and she did it in like 3 months. So it's just to say that no matter how bad you are, even if people have told you that, see, writing is not your calling. I mean, don't listen to the naysayers, and just focus on your own growth and see what you can achieve um, with the resources you have at your disposal. So as you're also growing, like I said, I mean, part of the goals that you should set for yourself should also be that at what regularity do you want to write? When I mean write now, do you want to write and have them published now on your own platform? So you could say, oh, I want to write an article weekly, and thank God there's a challenge going on, a 45-day challenge, right? Or is it 40-day challenge? Yeah, 45. Oh, okay. So, so
45.
45. Yeah, yeah. I read your lip. So that's a good way to start. So you can just say, oh, I want to write every day for the next 45 days. So it doesn't even have to be big. It could be 500 words, 300 words, 100 words, one A4 sheet. I mean, as the spirit leads, as you have the time. So set that goal for yourself that, oh, I want to write every day, and always strive that when you write, have someone to go through it and find a way to put it out there. So this way, as an amateur writer, you are building a portfolio for yourself. So even if, I mean, let's say, even if you probably want to venture into full-time writing, the first question anyone will ask you is that, what have you written before? Where's your portfolio? And you just say, oh, share them links to your um, Substack platform, your Medium platform. So there are a whole lot of platforms but those are the two that really come to mind right now. Um, so when they see these links, I mean, when they go through, they'll be like, oh, wow, this is nice. And you can even create a blog for yourself, or you could possibly have some friends who are running blogs that you could say, oh, can I be a guest writer? Can I be a contributor to a platform? Help me publish this article. It doesn't have to be a big blog. It could be just a small scale blog or a regular one. So these are links. So you're giving yourself um, from there, you can now start to fine tune yourself and say, oh, now that I'm writing, I'm doing lifestyle stories, I'm doing real estate stories. Who would my audience be? How would they think? And how how would they like to? What would they like to know? And what would they like to know? And like, how can I possibly put it to them? Very, very simple. That would be easy to read. So I mean, from there you can now say, oh, okay, uh, I'm writing for Nigerian youths now. So what's the Nigerian youth like? A big characteristic of um, youth writing will probably be pop culture now. So when you're writing, you can now say, oh, okay, instead of just doing a rigid form of writing, like what is advantages, disadvantages, and conclusion, what references can you put in? What instances of pop culture can you put in? Say okay, recently presidential yacht was causing some commotion, $5 billion. I mean, you probably want to start an article. I probably say, I wish I was writing this from the most expensive Nigerian yacht, and but unfortunately, it's not something that you would see and you will easily be amused, and everybody can relate because it's a trend. I mean, there are a whole lot of examples that you can use. I mean, we've had a whole lot of issues that have happened. Hilda Abasi was just dethroned. I mean, she just had a world record snatched from her by an Irish person. So that's a trend that you can infuse. I'm hammering on pop culture now. That's something that you can infuse that can make your work flow, can make it relatable. That this is something to. So this is so you know your audience because you have a niche. So by having your niche, you know your audience, and then so you know what you can write about, what you can infuse that can help you to know your audience, and of course, for you to be able to deploy pop culture elements very well, it means you have to be updated. You have to know what is going on. You have to stay abreast of development. So you shouldn't see a trend and you be like, oh, what's happening here? So this happened. So as a writer, you can't afford to not be informed. You can't afford not to be updated. Um, I mean, what there's a trend that is going on TikTok right now, which has divided opinions. I'm not sure I know the name of the trend, but it's a trend that you put the camera up and ladies are shaking their bodies. It's a trend on TikTok, and it's gone viral. It has divided opinions, and people are already lashing ladies that have jumped on the trend. So these are things that just keep yourself updated. What's happening? I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to know everything, but it means that just to know something about. Then know something about everything. I mean, just a little here and there. So it helps your thoughts. It helps your examples. It helps you to know what elements to infuse, and it also helps you to even know what to even write about. That okay, these are trends. This thing is trending. Depending on your niche, and this thing is trending. This is something I can write about it. And lastly, as I round off my session, is also know how to deploy data when you write. As an amateur writer, the place of data is very, very important. And when I mean data now, uh, I mean trends now. So let me mention a couple of tools now. There's Google Trends. So when you go to Google Trends, you can see issues that are trending in Nigeria right now, issues that are trending in Nigeria on real estate, issues that are trending in Nigeria around sports, issues that are trending in Nigeria around lifestyle, around entertainment, around music, around movies. So uh, if you want to go into full-time professional writing, this can help you know what you can write upon because you don't want to write and you be the only person to read it. So when you know what is trending, when your decision is informed by data, which can come from Google too. Um, what you write about will fascinate people that, oh, wow, I've always wanted to know about this thing. This thing is going on and I didn't know. So apart from just knowing how to write now, what you also write is also an important element that attracts people to your content now, which really help you. So apart from Google Trends, Twitter trends can also help you. I mean, social media trends, let me generalize. Social media trends can also help you to know what to write about. And so I'm just trying to balance out how to write and also what to write too. So I think I should stop there and allow for questions now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kola Wole. Can we just give Kola a virtual round of applause? Thank you for such an. I mean, my notes is full of the different gems that you have been dropping. Well done. Thank you. Okay, so thank you for leaving our time for questions. I would so how do we do this? I think if you have a question, you can signify, then I would ask you to speak. And if you rather drop your questions in the chat box, that would be fine. Okay, so let me ask my own first question, Kola. So for me, yeah, I don't want to be a professional writer. I don't think that's my goal. My goal is to establish thought leadership in the field that I've chosen, which is entrepreneurship, basically. So I sometimes I struggle with am I even qualified to write about this? What do I have to say? That imposter syndrome to say, does this thing even make sense? So for my random thoughts, I know I can just close my eyes and write it. It's my thoughts. It's people on my WhatsApp status that I seeing it. But when I tell myself, okay, write a book or write an article on LinkedIn, is running in my head to say, what is the authority that you have to write this? What is that imposter syndrome? So can you speak to it? Is how can it be managed? Is it because I'm new? Is it why do I feel like this, having to struggle with all of the doubts and all of that?
Well, at some point, I mean, I'm sure imposter syndrome has happened to everyone, even uh, even the hardest of all. I mean, but so let me share a personal story. I remember when I so I there was a time I was working with the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and around that I moved to Red Media, wrote for Red Media, and so after leaving Red Media, I still felt, well, I still have a long way to go, in writing. I've probably written for two popular platforms, which I still feel I probably need to do more. And so sometime, maybe shortly after that, so I met a person, it was at an event, and then, we were just talking, hi, pleased to meet you. My name is Kola Muhammed. And then the person says, you are the Kola Muhammed? And I'm like, pull up, what's happening here? I mean, am I a celeb? And I'm sure I've not done Big Brother Niger. So, and the person was like, oh, I used to read your articles on Why Niger, and you're my favorite writer, blah, blah, blah. And the person was even giving me instances of articles. And I'm like, how come? I mean, so at that point, I was definitely saying to myself that I'm not a writer, I'm just trying. Like, but has seeing the testimony of that person went a long way, definitely, because I never felt that I could be I could be a person someone would know, like, put to heart that, oh, I love this person, or I like how this person writes, blah blah blah. So I mean, everybody suffers from it. But what gives you the authority? I mean, your substance is enough already. I mean, you're not coming from a place where you not done it, you don't know what to do there, or you don't have track record to show for it. I think the only thing is just the feeling that is troubling you, and then probably feeling that you've not done enough, or have you don't have enough substance, or you don't have enough metrics, numbers now. Probably we've not been given an MON award, a GCFR award, to say that, oh, Titi is a celebrated this is a celebrated business person. But really, I think it's just all feeling, and I think you just need to put it behind you and just put yourself out there. And more than more than that, more than the feeling of not having achieved enough, I think you should also, and most times, or let me say many times, the interaction, the encounter people who have with you may not even be with your business, may not be with your achievements now. It will be with the write-ups that, oh, wow, I mean, this person is definitely doling out knowledge. I mean, doling out huge, valuable nuggets for one to learn from. So, and then, these things are about presentation now. I mean, there are some people that they are very popular on social media. You see them like at almost every space, every talk, seminar thereabout. And in actual sense, if you look at what they are doing, honestly, it doesn't look so big. But because they've always been putting themselves out there, so they've turned themselves to mouthpiece, to the face of of a sector or a sector now. So and then there are some people who are doing mad numbers, who are doing crazy numbers, but you don't even know them, you don't see them, and in fact they even know more stuff than the people that are talking. But because they've not put themselves out there, because they probably don't have that superb communication skills, they don't have that PR spirit, to always be everywhere, always do stuff. So I think so. I know this person is a big time. Where in actual sense, the person is not even doing as good as some people that are not out there. So I mean, you have the substance, you have the track record, you have the achievement. I mean, we are witnesses. I'm a witness. I'm a testifier to the Lord's goodness in Titi's life. So I think you just need to put more effort. Ignore the feeling, put the feeling behind you, and put more effort into what you put out there. And so that when people encounter your write-ups, your nugget, your thoughts, I mean, it is rich. They always have something to learn from it. They always have something to pick from it, and it's also memorable. They always want to come back for more. They always want to like, oh wow, this. I don't want to miss this thing next week. Assuming it's a weekly newsletter now, so you're probably like, oh, I want to read this thing next week. I mean, so you should also channel effort into the substance of what you put out there. But I already think you have the profile to match it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kola, for that vote of confidence. And yes, so what I'm taking away from that is to ignore the feeling because almost everybody gets it, and just keep improving on your craft and on the substance of what you do. Keep giving value, and you'll be amazed at how the feedback you get one day, like what Kola is giving me right now. Thank you very much, Kola, for that. There's no question in the chat box. Florence, what questions do you have? Larry, what questions do you have?
Meanwhile, I'm doing a shout out to Daniel. It's been a while.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel. Yes, Daniel is showing up every day to write. Okay, so people are not they're not dropping questions in the chat box.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
I wasn't paying rapt attention when he was speaking because my child was a bit So I'm hoping to read listen to it again and then maybe send my questions. But some of the things I got, I think that is a very helpful meeting. So I would love to I have a lot of questions because I've been meaning to improve my writing too as well. I think report writing and, as you said, thought leadership, I've been meaning to do a lot of that, but sometimes it's just very difficult. I don't know where to start. Okay, let me ask one question.
Okay.
My problem, the reason why I didn't want to ask is because I didn't know if he had spoken about it. I think it would be rude because it just be like I was not paying attention. That's why I didn't want to ask. But let me ask my question. I read somewhere that when you want to write, you don't necessarily have to start afresh, that you can pick up a piece that somebody else has written, what someone else has written, and then use it to start your own, right? What are your thoughts on it? Because me personally, I feel that it makes it more difficult for you to write. I'll give you an example. I'm trying to prepare for my MBA now, and there are a number of essays that I have to write. So most times the 10 p.m. writing time that we have, I try to use it to write one essay per. I try to use it to write essays, right? And I find out that when I look at or when I read somebody else's essay, it sort of makes me lost. It doesn't even help me, because I'm just like, wow, this is such a good piece. Where am I going to start from, or how am I going to start? So what are your thoughts on it? Do you think when I'm writing, I shouldn't look at any other person's writing? I should just start, or I want to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. I mean, we have different personalities, and yeah, for some people, I mean, reading what others have done will definitely affect their productivity or their inspiration. And for some people, it's when they read people, like read wide, that they have inspiration to even write more. But if it's, should I say, for report writing, as you said now, or probably just to pick up writing, it's not a bad place to start by reacting to someone's article or to someone's speech. And I'm emphasizing the word react now. So you could probably just start out as a form of comment, or a form of reaction, or a form of criticism now, and say, oh, this person's, you probably say, this person is this person put out this thing, and even though you agree with some of these things, you think that some arguments are flawed, and these are the reasons the arguments of such a person is flawed. Then you state out your points and you move on. That's a criticism. It's a good form of writing. It even helps your own critical thinking, and also in a way gives you some reputation that, oh, you are knowledgeable about the field, and you definitely know what you're saying, especially when you can back it up with facts, numbers, and all. So that's that. And concerning you, that I mean, generally speaking, now that if you read others, it makes it difficult for you to write. I mean, you could probably start out writing yours afresh. Put down everything that you feel you want to put down. I mean, once you don't have any encumbrance writing, and then probably now go back to read others and see how you can improve your own write up from there. But I mean, there's also the mental part where, or the psychological part rather, where you may feel like whatever you've written is not as good as others, and others always have others always have superior write-ups, superior thoughts, superior expressions like that. I mean, sometimes it could be more psychological than it is than the actual situation. I mean, it may just be that you just feel, oh, this person's own is better. I mean, mine should be good, right? So it could be more psychological. I mean, and you probably want to pump your chest and say, say, my write-up is good. I know what I'm doing. And of course, but my point there is that you can write your own, look at what others have done, and see how it may improve your own. But if others, you would actually find others truly intimidating, I think you can just go online and do some research. And when you do a robust research before putting down your thoughts, I think it should give you way more confidence than probably just starting afresh. And probably feel like, I mean, giving the people the books I've consulted, the materials I've read, I mean, I'm sure what I put down is top notch. I hope my comments help.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Florence, for that question. Do we have any other question? Who's going next? While we wait for whoever has a question, Kola, I want to ask that for people like me that we are just writing to thought leadership, writing to express our opinions and all of that. When I write an article, what do you think I should be looking out for that should make me feel like, yeah, this is a good article? Maybe what I'm asking for is, what are the characteristics of a good article? Like an average person, I'm not a professional writer, I'm just writing. When I look at the piece, what are the things that I see that is indicative of the fact that, okay, this is a good work? Do you get my question, Kola? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to use the shortcut to unmute my mic, but
Okay.
and I was almost speaking. So yes, I get your question that, like, what are the features that you should look out for to say, oh, this article is it's fantastic, it's a good one. And well, okay, so first thing I always let me give my own opinion on it. So first thing I always look out for, I mean, what um in an article, number one, I'm a big fan of stories. I like stories a lot. Like, I mean, from the days of when we go for revivals, they will tell us of one witch that confessed, that gave her life to Christ. I've always loved stories. I mean, so when I'm reading an article, I like to see stories. I mean, instances. What can you give me that, because when I see stories now, I mean, I'm not saying you should just concoct a story. I just put it inside your article now, but something that probably introduces your point, something that expands your introduction of what you already have. I mean, and it doesn't have to be a I woke up I woke up one day and the sun was sunning, the rain was raining. I mean, it doesn't have to be that. It could be just a simple story of a brand. It could be a simple story of the last thing you did, simple story of an achievement, a simple story um, of why 83% of Nigerians now use so smartphone brand. You get now. So I love stories. I look out for that. And another thing that I look out for, I mean, of course, is the cohesion. So when I'm moving from one paragraph to another, does it flow? Is it not that when I get to paragraph 2, I have to go back to paragraph 1, that, oh, but did I miss something? Or did something get missing? Sometimes when it feels like when you are watching an episode, a series now, and then another episode starts, and you're like, no, I've not seen this character before. You probably go back and be like, or did I skip an episode in between? So that cohesion is very, very important. Your work should flow. Like, let your paragraph 1 flow into paragraph 2. Let one paragraph move it. Let it be chronological. So I like to see that flow, that continuity, not that it will look disjointed. You are talking about jollof rice, and suddenly I'm seeing jambalaya rice in the second paragraph, and I'm like, okay, is it that jollof rice was converted into jambalaya or whatever, whatever? I mean, I like to see that a lot. And then, of course, I'm an avid learner, so I like that when I'm reading your work, your article, I can learn something new, no matter how small. It could be a word. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to use bombastic words now. I don't like bombastic words. I mean, it could be something tiny. It could be like um probably um probably that, okay, let me, so I learned something yesterday, that in Nigeria, a lot 83%, no, is it 83%? Yeah, 83% um of internet traffic in Nigeria comes from mobile devices. So, I mean, it could be a fact as simple as that. You get, it could be, did you know that so company has 50% market share in, it could be something. So I always, look out for. So when I'm reading something and it feels like, I've not learned anything new, it may not really make it memorable. But when there is something I can learn, I mean, no matter how small, I mean, it makes sense. And so, I mean, it makes an article rich. It makes a write-up rich. I like simplicity. I like pop awareness. When I mean pop awareness now, you're using trends, what is happening, probably making side remarks, sarcastic remarks, you know. And the last one, of course, good English. Ha, nothing puts me off than terrible English. Nothing puts me off than terrible. Once I see, once I read like 1, 2 lines and English is bad, I'm off. I'm off. Like, no matter how interesting, no matter how how valuable. I mean, you could pack a whole lot of insights, a lot of facts, statistics, everything is that. Once I see your English is terrible, I'm off. So yeah, so yes, that's it for me.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Stories, it should have something one can learn from good English. So good, it's like eating sweet rice that has stone in it. You cannot even, once you're eating food that has stones, you just cannot eat so much. So
Exactly.
we can't overemphasize the place of good English. Okay. Thank you very much. Any other question before I ask Kola my last question, and then we call it a day? We promised 9 to, I think we actually started 8 to 5, so we can take some 4 extra minutes. So any questions from the floor before I ask my final question? No questions? Okay. So finally, Kola, is there anything like writing ethics? Does that exist? Just like they say eating ethics or business ethics. Is there anything like writing ethics, and then what does that mean? What does it look like? What does it sound like? That's one. In case there's nothing like writing ethics, that will take us to the next question, which is okay. So I've started to be consistent in my writing because I've done that in the last 8 days. How can one keep being consistent? It seems like a jam question, but maybe you have an extra point on how one can indeed be extra consistent. And then the first question is there anything like writing ethics? And then if there are, what are they? Over to you, Chief.
Yeah, they are writing ethics. The most popular one will be plagiarism, which is that you can't copy and paste what someone else has written and put it out as your own. I mean, it's an ethic that um, one should observe. I mean, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's stealing practically, intellectual theft. I mean, as much as I like an article, I'll probably just borrow a part from it and acknowledge it that um, according to this person, or this thing reminds me of what Titi said, or what Daniel said, or what Nchetachi said, or what Bell said, or what Patient said, that it is good to be good, it is bad to be bad, something like that. So plagiarism, intellectual theft, and then of course to always acknowledge when you use another person's, it doesn't have to be rigidly academic like Ekundayo 2023 page 5. It doesn't have to be that rigid, just a simple, oh, I read Titi's article last week and she talked about something flexible, something simple, just to show that it's not, those are not your words. I mean, that's very important. And then of course, when violent words that have sexual, anything around sex, so that's why if you follow popular blogs like Pulse, like Instablog, so they usually invert some words. They probably use three. They use asterisk. They use all this because social media platforms will flag them and they could block your account for you. So that's probably something you want to take note if you want to be writing. Your regularly punctuate your articles with images. captivating, and images can even help you tell the story better. I mean, they can even prove a good diversion, or probably just provide a vivid illustration of what you're trying to write about. So yes, always use images, and I think yeah, I think that's like the basic things to know. I mean, of course, probably have more things to say, about having sources, about having authorities comment on an issue. There are a whole lot of stuff to talk about. But yeah, I think these are the basic ones as well for common writing.
Thank you very much, Kola. So last and final question will be, how can we remain consistent? How can I finish this book that I've been writing? What do you think are the tips that can help in writing consistently?
Oh yeah,
have
sorry,
any
I skipped that. Tips that could help you. Well, one so you could probably have outlined topics you want to write about for the next 15 days. So it makes it easy for you when you want to pick up what you want to do now. So you're not struggling to know what you want to write about. You already know what you want to write about. It's just to start. So when you plan ahead, it helps relieve you of the headache, of the stress of having to think about what to write about. And of course, apart from that, I think anytime you probably something just occurs to you, you could just type it down in your notes, save it. In fact, it could be an article I read and I like that part. And I just copy it and paste it in my notes that I would like to flesh this thing or probably like to react to this thing. So it could be a social media post. So these things will also you're inadvertently giving yourself building blocks when it's time for you to construct your house, your write-up house now. So you're already, keeping some blocks somewhere in your notes, your diary. It could be bookmarks on Twitter, all these things. They also help so that when you want to start writing on a topic, you already have like 2, 3 paragraphs somewhere that you can just, build upon. So I think that one also helps. And of course, I think you should also let me bring in behaviorism now. Probably set uh probably reward for yourself to if I can do this thing, let me I'll probably buy yourself something, or you probably scold yourself or something. And if you can't scold yourself, have an accountability partner, someone who can hold you responsible. I mean for that, but I mean people I often make bets with myself. Between this time frame, I'll buy something for myself. And if not, I'll probably fast for the next. You get the point.
Yes, I do get the point. Thank you very much, Kola, for such an impactful 1 hour. I didn't think it would be anything less. We really do appreciate your coming and having this in such short notice. I thought, yes, we should have this masterclass, chatted Kola up, and yeah, Kola was good to go. So I want to really, really appreciate you, Kola. Thank you for this wonderful gift that you've given us, this gift to encourage us to share our thoughts, this gift of acknowledging our fears and saying it's only normal to feel like an imposter sometimes when you're writing, and then the work is for you to keep adding value and for you to show up. Thank you for the so many wonderful tips that you've shared, and we really want to say a very big thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we hope that one day we can write you that love note to say, hey, Kola, I listened to that session of yours or that conversation with you had with us, and then look at what I've done with it. Thank you very much, Kola. Thank you. And yes, sir. And to everybody who came to listen, I want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the last, just took our lights, interesting. Thank you for the last 8 days. Thank you for showing up. And let's keep showing up. It will be hard. It will be challenging, but would come out of it strong. And yeah, that's Kola said something, that I could so much relate with. How some people on social media platforms, they are very loud. They are very, very loud. You feel like they're the ones directing everything in Nigeria. And those that are doing the real work are not saying anything. And when people that want to work, when people that are looking for people to partner with come into Nigeria or start to look, they look at those people that are talking, really, because they put themselves out there. So it's really a very big challenge to all of us to say, yeah, put yourself out there. Nobody would sell you as much as you would sell yourself. And one good way to do that is by writing that article, by posting that LinkedIn article, by commenting. It sometimes could be as simple as just ensuring that you comment on people's write-ups. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming. And yes, I am looking forward to seeing a good number of us by 10. Yes, you are still writing, despite the training or the conversation, we are still writing. So thank you very much, everybody. Do have a lovely night rest. Kola Ole, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tutu. Thank you for the privilege. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to your book draft, Tutu. Looking forward. I'm probably holding that now.
No, yes. Kola, you are editing my book now. We have that. Once I'm done writing it, I'll just give you the work that because that's another thing that I'm just sometimes I'm writing, I'm shaking my head that the person that will did this working. The person we work.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I want to say thank you for you guys for being there. People like us can write, and we know that you guys would put it in context, would put it in proper context to check and tell us what to tweak. So we publish that book, we come out looking like superstars. So thank you for watching. Good night. See you night, class.